Hello everybody, welcome back from your Thanksgiving holidays. Welcome to Trackalicious. We've got the GT4 Rookies Championship heading to round number 7 at Oulton Park. This is the penultimate round. We've got 2 races tonight, 2 races next week, and that will be the end of the championship here for the Winter GT4. But before we get to that, we have to get to the racing this evening. It is around Oulton Park. The qualifying session should be getting going underway here. The first of 2 15-minute sessions. And let's head to the track and see what the action is all about. Hope everybody's having a good Monday so far. We got the livery working for Akane Kalen, championship leader, and by a good amount as well in the 31 McLaren. Looking to continue the form we've seen all season long from the front runner Akane. But mentioning earlier, not a lot of knowledge around this track, so might be a bit of a learning session in the first couple of they're in the first qualifying, as there is a slide out of the tight chicane at turn number 8 and 9. And going deep into the second chicane at turns 10, 11, and 12. Now darting up the hill to the left. Lots of little elevation changes here around Oulton Park. Certainly making it feel like a bit of a roller coaster ride. 2 right-handers sweeping to the right, catching up to the back of Drew Freiberger in the 419. He's looking pretty strong in the championship as well. We'll take a look at just how those standings are faring up in a little bit after this qualifying session concludes. Beginning his first flying lap in the Gotta Minute Racing, Drew Freiberger looking for another podium finish this season. Has had some good results, has also had some races where just luck not quite favoring the 419. But Drew knows he's got some strong pace. And in this heat, it is going to be a question of how those tires hold up during the race. But during the qualifying, it is a all-out attack. See exactly how fast you can push the car to the limits here to set the grid order for the first race. Little bit of dust getting kicked up as he goes through turn 12. Wes Jones gets a time on the board. A 144.4 is eclipsed by Bottini in the number 57 Ginetta. Josh Ransom also gets on the board. Carabete improves the time, as does Sir Kojay. Answers right back with a 143.197. Where will Drew Freiberger go? He's got one corner to the right and then a little kink to the left. That is technically the final corner of the track. Up to the line goes the 419, and he goes into the top 5. You've got Akane Kalen coming across the line behind. Where will the number 31 slide in? Not on a valid lap this go around. The Alpine of Dr. Porkchop going through the final sector. A couple of right-hand corners before that left-hand kick separate him from the finish line. Still early in the session, just about 5 minutes gone by. And into the final braking zone of the lap. Using all of the track on corner exit, dipping through the hill and across the line, it goes into 7th place. Might take a few more laps. Oh, Dr. Porkchop running a little bit wide, going off track. So he will have to go around once more. Josh Ransom looking to improve his position, currently sitting in 6th, needs about 3/10 to get ahead of Drew Freiberger into the top 5. And then another half a second can see him up as high as 3rd. Where will this lap put Josh Ransom? Able to improve his time, but not quite his position. Drew Freiberger looking to improve on to the 2nd row, or maybe even the front row, if he can carry the pace, and he loses it through the final corner. Has to go around once more. And now will we see a lap from Akane? That is valid. Kalen to the line and to the top of the charts, a 43.010. The time to chase for the rest of the field. Rocco Luciano, excuse me, has a lap on the board. He is in 11th place. And on a personal best here as he goes across the line. And he does just that, improves his time. And now looking to get that lightning pace and potentially find himself ahead of Olajoyegbe, sitting in 10th place. Mercedes going through the beginning of the 3rd sector as Hezzy Thomas gets a time on the board, a 1:49.000. If you're looking for a precise time, there is one from Hezzy Thomas as Tolu goes through the final braking zone, looking to get the power down. And not too many long straights here at Oulton Park, but lots of good overtaking opportunities here as Olajoyegbe solidifies his position in the top 10, goes up to 8th place. No lap on the board yet from Lucas Torano, but he is looking to change that. The final braking zone dealt with. And now running up to the line in the number 19 Aston Martin. And he goes up to 11th. Let's take a look at how the lone KTM is doing. Needs to gain about a second to get ahead of Rocco Luciano for position, as he just crossed the line, unable to improve his personal best. Can the KTM do the opposite and get on the board with a quicker lap? This will kill the 49.000, but it will be an improvement, and it improves by about half a second. So a good amount of time gained there from Hezzy Thomas on that lap. Drew Freiberger's got Alice Nonohara behind him for company on his qualifying lap as he looks to improve up from 7th place. Oh, and running wide. Oh, but he's able to keep it on track. That was a heavy moment from the McLaren, but keeping the car pointed in the correct direction and able to go out for another run. Alex Aguirre, still no time on the board from him as well. Beluga, Kanoko, Dutchy in the pits. Drew Freiberger runs deep at turn 1. He will have to return to the pits as we are about 2/3 through our 15-minute qualifying session. Lucas Torano improves into the top 10, gets ahead of Dr. Porkchop, and up to 9th place. Track temperature is certainly quite high. Very difficult to keep the temperatures in the tires low for good amounts of grip. And will we see those temperatures cool down in the later sessions? But for the moment, it is blistering hot out there with Giancarlo Bottini in the Firebrand number 57, sitting in the top 5 and looking to get past the top Ginetta on the grid so far. It's Josh Ransom up ahead of him in 4th, and he needs about 4.5 tenths to get past Josh Ransom up ahead on the 2nd row. He gets a personal best, but needs about 2.5 tenths more if he wants to get a spot on that 2nd row. Wes Jones moves him down, though, to 6th as the number 80 AMG moves himself into the top 5. And Dr. Porkchop looking for a response, looking to get further his position in the top 10. As Lucas Toronto goes back to the pits. Aguirre on the board in the number 11 Aston Martin gets up to 12th. And Dr. Porkchop gets an improvement, moves past Lucas Toronto, and it needs another 10.5 to get past Olajoyegbe in 8th. Josh Ransom looking to solidify his position as the top Ginetta. Needs about 3 tenths to get ahead of Carabete in 3rd, and has a decent 2-tenth gap to Wes Jones behind, but nonetheless still looking to go quicker still. 3 minutes left on the clock. Yeah, that was a great time to get all of the sales with Black Friday and Cyber Monday. Count that as part of the holiday weekend. And Josh Ransom can't quite match his personal best. And it looks like the Ginetta will return to the pit, so that will be the session done for Josh Ransom. Bottini couldn't get an improvement on his last lap. Looks like he's got the fuel in the car to go around for another go. Keeping it on track in the quick left-hand corner of Cascades. And into the tight hairpin. Lots of camber helping the driver carry the speed through before moving into a slow chicane and running wide as Bottini invalidating the lap. He was trying to carry all the speed he could out of the corner, but couldn't quite keep it within the white lines. Cheers, Rocco. Thanks for that hydrate. Just by myself in the commentator's booth today, so any help from the chat is always appreciated. Keeping track of the drivers at hand, seeing if there are any close battles going on. And at the moment, Bottini having to go around once more after invalidating his previous flying lap. And this will be his last go-around. Unfortunately, it's back to the pits for the number 57. Probably not carrying enough fuel. What am I sipping on? I am sipping on green tea. Get a little bit of energy going. And I have not had anything for dinner. Dinner is usually after the stream for me. There you go, red Powerade, barbecue nachos. An absolutely killer combination. As Olajoyegbe to the line with the time ticking down, he's able to go around once more. Not able to, or he was able to improve his personal best on that last lap, but not able to improve his position. So 8th will be the highest he can go. And most of the drivers are already back in the pit lane. We've just got Carabete in the 704, looking to get an improvement and get on the front row. Needs about 3/10 to get ahead of Sir Kojay, and about 4/10 behind Akane Kalin in the sister McLaren. There you can see how much elevation change there is. You can barely see the corner at the other side of the hill. And there, just in the background, is the pink car of Sir Kojay sitting on that front row in the number 420. As Carabete goes a little bit heavy over the curb, sliding the car wide and invalidating the lap in the process. And the 704 third will be the highest that he can finish. Does Sir Kojay have what it takes to displace Akane Kalin at the front of the field? Kalin has taken pole position so many times this season. Can Sir Kojay take that away? Up to the line, and he does. He goes into the 42s and improves the pole position time by about 3/10. And so in the first qualifying session, at the last second, Sir Kojay able to put the lap in when it mattered and got to the front of the field. Drivers now getting their race setups loaded, making sure they got the fuel so they don't have to come in for a pit stop to top up and be able to finish the race. Making sure all the tire pressures are ready and set. And let's remind ourselves of how the grid lines up. We can't forget about that effort from Sir Kojay right at the last second there in the number 420. AMG the Chill Bibble Racing lines up in pole position. Alongside on the front row, championship leader Akane Kalin in the Strayworks X Spirit Racing number 31 McLaren. Behind, Fernando Carabete in the KRT 704 McLaren starts from a strong position on the second row in third. Alongside him, the lead Ginetta of Josh Ransom in the TVR 325 starting from fourth. Then you've got Wes Jones in the Baller Squad Racing number 80 AMG starting in the top 5. Giancarlo Bottini behind him in the Firebrand 57. Ginetta starting from 6th. Drew Freiberger in 7th in the 419 Got a Minute Racing McLaren. And he will have Tolu Olajoyegbe in the number 13 AMG Motorsports 4 Company on the 4th row. Starting inside the top 10 is Dr. Porkchop, the Lone Alpine, the 71 Chop Shop Racing. Starting from 9th. Rounding out the top 10, you've got Lucas Torano in the number 19 Casual Chaps Aston Martin. Then you've got Alice Nonahara, the Wicked Sister Motorsports Ginetta number 42, starting just outside the top 10 in 11th. Alex Aguirre in the Casual Chaps number 11 Aston, starting a few positions behind his teammate in 12th. Then you've got Rocco Luciano of Apex Mafia, the number 14 Aston Martin, starting from 13th. Hezzy Thomas, the lone KTM, the Dog Box Racing number 59, gets to 14th place. And Lucas Torano back to the pits. Not sure if that was a pit lane start penalty for him or just unable to get the session rolling in time. Vladimir Beluga is next, starting from 15th in the Beluga Racing Team number 5 Porsche. Behind is Tenno Kanoko of Femboy Fitness Racing, the number 9 Porsche, starting from 16th. Last but not least, you have Rally Duchy of Ninetail Racing in the 621 Ginetta. And that is how the grid sits for the first race of the evening. And with that being said, let's take a look at how the championship standings currently sit before going into round number 7. At the front, you've got Akane Kalen with a very commanding advantage at the front. Drew Freiberger is next, getting a strong second place standing so far, but Wes Jones not too far behind, and there are a lot of points available for the races, especially since there are 2 of them in one evening. Then behind Wes Jones, Josh Ransom behind him by just 2 points for a position in the top 3 of the championship. Fernando Carabete lies in 5th, with Dr. Porkchop and Evan Laranjo tied on points for 6th and 7th. Ola Joyegbe is next in 8th place, with Saunderson in 9th, and Lawrence Thomas rounds out the top 10 of the championship. So with that in mind, it is super tight for a lot of championship positions here. Akane Kalen, like you saw there, pretty dominant on points up to this point in the race, but still needs to finish out on a high note and needs to get the races in, while Drew Freiberger still has a chance. Lots of points on offer, so it is crucially important to finish as well. The grid getting set, going into the 3rd and final sector, lining up side by side in zipper formation, as we like to call it here. And now is the time for the drivers to get mentally ready for the green lights to go and release them for the first race. 20 minutes of action, no pit stop. It is a sprint from start to finish. Who will we see out in front? Will it be Sir Kojay being able to take that position from pole?
Green light, go.
And we will be able to tell just now. Akane Kalen, fantastic getaway, gets the lead into turn 1. Sir Kojay has the inside though. The McLaren pushing the limits of the track. Josh Ransom goes wide in the 325, and there are cars going off in the background. I believe that was Ola Joyegbe sliding across the track in the number 13 AMG. And Alice Nonohara getting a great start, as well as Dr. Porkchop. Those 2 moving up into the top 5, it looks like. And now Akane Kalen going wide and nearly taking out Karabete in the process, goes deep into the hairpin, but still keeping the car under control. That means Sir Kojay back in the lead, Karabete into 2nd place, then Akane Kalen dropping to 3rd. There's Dr. Porkchop in 4th, with Alice Nonohara in the number 42 Ginetta moving up into the top 5. Chaotic start, allowing Rocco Luciano to gain a lot of positions at the start there. Wes Jones, Ola Joyegbe, Josh Ransom finding themselves at the back of the grid here, and there is just Wes Jones straggling at the back, but still in it. With Rally Duchy back to the pits, unfortunately that Ginetta unable to keep going here in this race, as Sir Kojay remains in the lead after a quite chaotic start, with Kalen taking the lead for a while, then running deep at turn 4 and 5, giving Sir Kojay the position. But now Fernando Carabete is looking to fight the AMG at the front and take the lead away. Two McLarens looking strong for pace. There's Dr. Porkchop and Alice Nonohara in 4th and 5th. Then you've got Bottini maintaining the position he started in 6th. Alex Aguirre moving up into the top 10. Same with Beluga and Kanogo. Contact! Kanabete to the inside of Sir Kojay. Kalen also trying to get through. Gets blocked out. More side-by-side contact. Sir Kojay dropping back to 3rd after Kanabete going in heavy to the inside at the tight hairpin of turn 5. Moving himself up into that position, shuffling Sir Kojay out wide and allowing Akane Kalen to sneak through to 2nd place. And now Akane Kalen really pressuring the back of Fernando Canavete for the race lead. The top 3 showing they have the pace to pull away, but with how much they're battling, this might still draw in Dr. Porkchop, Nonohara, and Bottini as well. Akane Kalen drifting out of the exit of 16, trying to get all of the power down to keep up with Kanabete, and Sir Kojay looking to fight back after losing that lead on the previous lap, sticking it right to the bumper of Akane Kalen. Sir Kojay really pushing the limits of the track there, trying to carry all the speed out of turn 3 and into turn 4. He's trying to line up a move out the inside, just trying to scare the mirrors of the McLaren in front, but it didn't work that go around, and he will have to try in a different part of the track. A little further back, Ola Joyegbe in 13th. There's contact, Hezi Thomas and Tenno Kanoko making contact, and I think the Porsche got pushed wide and into the wall. It did. Yellow flag there for the number 9. Just standing there. And now Ola Joyegbe looking to make up the positions after losing it at the first quarter. Not sure exactly what happened there. All I just saw was the gray AMG sliding across the track. And now in a recovery race here, up to 12th with the number 9 Porsche. Getting moved to the back of the grid here. Now fighting with Wes Jones, also carrying a lot of damage on the front of that AMG. Side-by-side contact at the back of the grid here. Josh Ransom back in the pits in the 325 as well. Bottini got through Alice Nonohara, and now applying the pressure to Dr. Porkchop for 4th place. Lots of little battles going on all around here as the 80 and the number 9. Yellow flags at the back there between turn 15 and 16. Dr. Porkchop goes wide into the grass, and into the wall goes the Alpine. And it doesn't look like he's rolling just yet, as Alice Nonohara, Aguirre, Drew Freiberger, and Vladimir Beluga all go through. And now, just now, the Alpine getting back up and rolling. Ola Joyegbe getting shuffled behind. Rocco Luciano moves up a place. He goes up to 12th, past the number 13 AMG, and now he will look to move past the KTM in front, but Hezi Thomas puts up a strong defense as he goes into the chicane quite heavily there, chopping across the front of the Aston Martin. As Luciano goes a little bit deep, Ola Joyegbe looking to take advantage, and that's Lucas Toronto on the grass and onto the racing surface ahead of Ola JB. Oh my goodness, that was so close between the two of them. But Toronto stays ahead in 11th. Luciano ahead of them. As the KTM still defending from the Aston Martin. And Ola Joyegbe just stuck here, can't quite get those positions made up. Check back into the front here, the 420 of Sir Kojay dropping back. Maybe a mistake on the previous lap, about 6 seconds slower than Kalen and Carabete ahead. And now falling into the grasp of Giancarlo Bottini for that final podium position. They are within 1.5 seconds of each other. And Giancarlo Bottini trying to get that position as quickly as possible. It looks like there's some front end damage on Sir Kojay's car. And will that slow him down enough to allow Bottini to go side by side for an overtake? Oh, and heavily over the curbs goes the AMG. Bottini slides through into that final podium position. It's a strong showing here from the lone firebrand Ginetta out on track this evening. But currently performing quite well, running in that final podium position. Does he have the pace to close down the gap to Kalen and Carabete in front? Kalen on the previous lap also a little bit slower. The gap opening up to Carabete, 4.5 seconds. And then it is a further 6 seconds here to Giancarlo Bottini. And Ola Joyegbe to the inside. The KTM trying to slot in to not allow Lucas Toronto to go through. Oh, excuse me, that's Rocco Luciano. Lucas Toronto up ahead in the number 19. Ola Joyegbe finally gets through the pair of them, and down the inside goes Rocco Luciano! And onto the grass, and a perfect 360 to recover it. Losing the position to Hezi Thomas there, but that was a perfectly executed 360. And the action all over the track here.
We are at the halfway mark. Interesting.
And just as we hit the halfway mark, the battles, some opening up, others closing in places. Sir Kojay not giving any breathing room to Bottini. Cheers, Callie. Welcome back to the podium. You've been there for 23 months, almost a full 2 years. Next month in January, the new year will mark your 2-year anniversary. Thank you for the continued support here at Trackalicious. Much appreciated from myself and the hardworking staff that make all of this possible in the background. Speaking of one of those, big shout out to Dr. Porkchop being able to manage the series and race in it as well, and does a good job of doing it. Here, currently in 9th place, having a bit of a moment, running wide onto the grass. The front of the Alpine going heavily into the wall, but it doesn't look like there's too much damage compared to some of the other cars we've seen. So still in a strong top 10 finish here for Dr. Porkchop as he looks to finish the championship in the top 5. Currently tied on points with Evan Laranjo, missing out on this round. But of course there is that drop round to consider in the championship, so the final standings may look a little bit different as we head into those final 2 rounds. Round 7 here this evening is the second to last one. Sir Kojay again running wide through the exit of turn 12, nearly losing the back end. That was how he lost the position to the Ginetta a few laps ago. allowing Bottini just that little bit more breathing room behind and not having to focus so much in the mirrors with that pink AMG looming close behind. He can look now ahead and try to put those consistent laps in and maybe, just maybe, catch up to the back of the McLarens leading the front. Aguirre running wide at the exit of 16, and another car carrying a lot of damage here. That's Drew Freiberger in the 419 McLaren. The car sitting in second in the championship as it stands. Also on a bit of a recovery drive here with that substantial amount of damage to the front end of the McLaren. It is amazing how he is able to put those laps in still and have a good, strong result here to show for it. And once again, just another unlucky race here for Drew. Picking up that touch of damage. Touch of. A little bit more than a touch, but still. Good determination to see the checkered flag at the end. Clipping the apex perfectly. Alex Aguirre unable to do the same. He will have to chop across turn number 8 at the Britain's chicane. Yellow flag for Rocco Luciano. Getting back on track here. And going through turn 4. Fernando Carabete, pretty lonesome race for him at the moment. 5.7 seconds to Akane Kalin behind. He was able to take that lead after an aggressive move into this hairpin right here. Saw him go past Sir Kojay and into the lead of the race. Kalin was able to follow through into second. And at the moment, Carabete just has the pace at the front to maintain this gap to Kalin, with Giancarlo Bottini in third place. After starting outside of the top 5 on the grid to start the race in the closing 5 minutes, he currently sits in third place on that final podium position. Looking to carry the Firebrand team on his back this evening. The lone representative with a strong showing and looking to close out the race here in third. Should be about 3 laps remaining for Carabete out in the lead as he comes up to the start-finish line. Vladimir Beluga, after starting down the grid in 15th or 16th even, he is finding himself in a strong top 10 result here. Porsche, I feel like, or the grid was full of Porsches not too long ago, but now not too heavily used here. But Beluga has been using it all season long. And like you said, yeah, props to them for sticking with the Porsche all season long. And able to keep out of trouble, out of that turn 1 chaos. Beluga in his number 5 Porsche, currently sitting in 9th place. They are not fun to drive. Yeah, it's crazy. I remember when I was first getting the GT4 DLCs and kind of testing a few of the cars, the Porsche seemed to be one of the better ones, but now after all of the updates, Drew Freiberger spinning out of the Britain's chicane. And that gives 6th place to Alex Aguirre. Dr. Porkchop able to go through as well. There is the Alpine now, up to 7th, with Vladimir Beluga trying to go down the inside. That's an aggressive move, and that sees him colliding with Drew Freiberger. Oh my goodness, into the turn 10 and 11 chicane. Yeah, that sure was a TC moment. He was on the grass, and then the car went sideways, and then once again, the McLaren onto the grass and sideways, but this time the gravel stopping his progress, losing a few places more to Beluga and Lucas Toronto as well, as he goes for the aggressive move past Vladimir Beluga. These two now running 8th and 9th place. And that's Ola Joyegbe in the background getting past, potentially past Freiberger, but he's going to fight it down the inside of turn 1. Oh my goodness, nearly the AMG oversteering into the McLaren, but they are still side by side down the hill at turn 2. Ola Joyegbe down the inside, pushing Freiberger a little bit wide on the entry, not allowing him the speed down this mini straightaway before turn 4, and Ola Joyegbe back into the top 10. Lucas Toronto on the exit of the turn 5 hairpin, looking to fight with Beluga into the Britain's chicane. A little bit of contact, still side by side though, giving each other plenty of space, and Vladimir Beluga going through. There we got the message that Carabete, after leading for 11 laps, he is on the 12th and final lap of the contest. Lots of positions still up for grabs. Who will finish in 8th? Will it be Beluga? Will it be Toronto? No! He goes into the grass and heavily into the wall. But somehow that front end still holding up on that Aston Martin. Ola Joyegbe and Freiberger go through, but they are still side by side. The McLaren being forced onto the grass and spinning out of turn number 14. Oh my goodness me, Drew Freiberger has had himself an eventful race. I'm going to try to keep the camera off Drew. I think I'm just cursing him so much this season. I'm gonna leave him alone for the next race, and then he will not have any sort of commentator's curse go his way. Fernando Carabete took the lead with an aggressive move into the hairpin and hasn't looked back, increasing the pace, or the gap I should say, over Kalen by 11 seconds, and he will take the checkered flag in P1 for race number 1. There's your race winner, Fernando Carabete, in the 704. Akane Kalen next across the line, and there's Bottini getting pretty close, within 2 seconds of Akane Kalen, and big shout out to the Firebrand Ginetta for that podium finish. Sir Kojay, despite the heavy damage, good determination from him to stick it out up in 4th place. Alice Nonohara starting outside the top 10, finishes in the top 5 in the number 42 Ginetta. Alex Aguirre next, the first casual chaps across the line, also starting outside the top 10 or in 10th and up in 6th. Then you've got Dr. Porkchop in 7th, and Vladimir Beluga, after starting at the back of the grid, up into 8th place. Great top 10 finish from the number 5 Porsche. Good recovery from Ola Joyegbe to finish in 9th. Lucas Toronto, despite his moments, seeing the wall, finishes inside the top 10. And Drew Freiberger, even more fantastic determination from him despite the many incidents here, takes the checkered flag in 11th. Rocco Luciano battling it out with Josh Ransom. These aren't 4 positions. Tenno Kanoko taking the checkered flag in 16th place. That might move him up a place though, with Hezi Thomas returning to the pits. So Josh Ransom up to 14th. Wes Jones across the line in 13th. Then you've got Rocco Luciano here taking the checkered flag in 12th. And Bottini doing a closing lap back to the pits and onto the podium for him. Taking his position in the line of cars there as we wait for the session to carry over. With Hezi Thomas being in the pit lane, he will go around for his final lap and take the checkered flag. Let's ride on board. Oh my gosh, the tires at 30 PSI that whole race. Yeah, the track temperature skyrocketing, 44 degrees C, ambient 35. That is crazy hot conditions for a place like Britain. Yeah, certainly battling it out for position, really increasing the tire pressures as Hezi Thomas going through the final few corners here to finish out race number 1. Into the final braking zone, down a few gears. From on board, you can really see the elevation changes here at Oulton Park. And taking the checkered flag with the flares going off. That is race number 1 concluded after 12 laps. Fernando Carabete takes the win. Akane Kalin in 2nd. Giancarlo Bottini rounds out the podium. Sir Koji in 4th. Nonohara in 5th. Aguirre in 6th. Porkchop in 7th. Beluga in 8th. Ola Joyegbe 9th. And Lucas Toronto rounds out the top 10. That makes it official. And we've got one more of those coming up right after the second qualifying session. 15 minutes back on the clock. A completely new grid order is possible here. Let's see what happens in the second go around. Yeah, Hezi, saw that yellow flag pop up. I was hoping there wouldn't be too much damage, but yeah, it looked like you had to return to the pits and go around after fixing that car. But luckily for you and all the other drivers, there is another 20-minute race ahead to make up for all of the wrongdoings of the previous session. Fernando Carabete will look to not change anything about that previous race, as he will hope to finish at the front once again here. Looking to finish the championship on a high note and maybe, just maybe, find himself in the top 3 come the season end. ride on board with Fernando for his first flying lap attempt in the GT4s. There are no tire blankets, so the tires come out ice cold out of the pits. But with how hot the conditions are, I'm sure they get up to temperature quite quick here. But nonetheless, we might still see times tumbling after a few warm-up laps here. But Fernando will try his best on his first flying lap here. Going through turn 3, nice and steady. Making sure not to run wide at the corner exit. Then the quick left-hander at turn 4. And then the tight hairpin at turn 5. Where we saw a few moments in the previous race, heavily cambered on the exit, a little bit over a dip. Kind of easy to lose the rear of the car there. And then into the Britain's chicane. It is all about nailing those curbs, and Fernando does just that. Now running up the hill and back down before entering the turn 10 and 11 chicane. Hopping over the curbs a little bit, back on the brakes before slinging it through what I kind of like to call the forest section. Up the hill to the left, and then 2 quick right-handers to follow. The dab of brakes, down a gear, trying to carry all the speed in a little bit too much, invalidating the lap there, but still keeping the car pointed in the right direction on the track. So he will be able to go around once more. Wes Jones setting the first time a 1:44.075. Bottini slots in second, about 0.2 off of the pace of the lead AMG here. Allison Onohara on the board. Same with Josh Ransom. He goes to the top with a 1:43.855. Where will Dr. Porkchop find himself after his first flying lap attempt? Going through the last set of corners now. And up into 6th place goes the lone Alpine. Drew Freiberger here just beginning the 3rd sector. Oh, and going into the gravel as we saw the 704 do. Keeping it out of the walls. As he will have to go around for one more lap. Fernando Carabete finishing his 2nd flying lap here, able to keep it within the white lines this time. And where will he go? Onto the front row behind Sir Kojay, who sets the new benchmark, a 1:43.180 from the 420 AMG. Carabete about half a second behind. Then you've got Bottini ahead of Ransom, Wes Jones in 5th, Ola Joyegbe in 6th, Dr. Porkchop 7th, Noda 8th, Beluga 9th, Luciano 10th, then Hezi Thomas in 11th. He is the last of those to complete a valid lap so far. Still looking for times from Aguirre and Drew Freiberger, Kalen, and Toronto. Alex Aguirre running wide at the final corner, invalidating his lap here, having to go around once more. And Drew Freiberger once again finding a bit of dust on the track, with Wes Jones now behind him in the mirror. El Luciano taking too much grass on the exit, spinning up the rears and finding the wall. Oh, same corner. Drew Freiberger running a little bit wide again. And just no grip on the grass finds the 419 sliding wide. So Wes Jones in 5th. Can he improve his time to get onto the 2nd row? He can improve his time, but not his position. Drew Freiberger gets a valid lap on the board. He goes into the top 10 to 9th. Fernando Carabete improving his time, going to the front of the grid, or the front row of the grid, I should say, not the front of the grid. Exactly 1/10 behind Sir Kojay as Wes Jones finding the wall there. Sir Kojay improving the benchmark to a 142.875, now 4/10 clear of the 704 McLaren. Still no lap from Akane Kalin. The splitter cam shows exactly just how much curb the McLarens are taking here. A little bit bouncy on the corner exit. They're shooting up the hill into the forest section. Oh my goodness, we've lost Kalin. What happened there? Oh no, I believe there was a disconnection from Akane. Down to 16 drivers, and once again at turn 15, Drew Freiberger just getting caught out. Proving to be the Achilles heel of that 419 McLaren in this qualifying session. 6 minutes left. Sir Kojay in the pits, looking to get some fresh tires on the car and back for another session. Vladimir Beluga sitting just outside the top 10. Needs a 10th of an improvement to get ahead of Lucas Turano. And he's so close to improving his personal best, but just can't quite do it there. Needs just about a 10th to get ahead of Lucas Turano and into the top 10. Alex Aguirre, one braking zone left for him to find a valid lap here. As we tuned in with him before, this was the corner. The Aston Martin went wide, and not doing the same this time. Where will this put the number 11? Moves up into the top 10, moves the number 19 Aston Martin just outside now to 11th. And Drew Freiberger approaching his famous corner. Let's see how he handles it this time. Nice and tidy on the corner entry, and nice and smooth on the exit as well. This should be a big improvement from the 419, as he just has one corner to negotiate. Now to the line goes the 419, currently in 9th, and goes all the way up to 3rd. We're going to get out all of our Drew Freiberger action here in the qualifying session. Try and leave him alone in the race. Olajoyegbe now to the line in 8th. A few tenths behind the Alpine of Dr. Porkchop, who has found a good bit of pace here. With the track temperatures going down, Tenno Kanoko in the pink Porsche finding the wall on the exit of turn 1. And Kalin is back. Good news. Still in the pits, though, is the number 31. Still a good amount of time on the board to get out there and at least put in a valid lap. It might not be the most representative. And Kalen will go out and do just that. So as it stands, you've got Sir Kojay at the front of the field, lining up in provisional pole once again. A 1:42.875 is the time to chase. Fernando Carabete in second. Then you've got Drew Freiberger in the pits in third. Bottini fourth. Josh Ransom fifth. Those three in the pits. So more than likely, we're not going to see an improvement from those three drivers. So it's up to Wes Jones in sixth. Then you've got Dr. Porkchop in seventh. Ola Joyegbe eighth. He returns back to the pits now with just a little over 2 minutes to go. Sir Kojay still out on track, looking to solidify his position at the front of the field. Then you've got Nonohara continuing down the standings in ninth. Aguirre rounds out the top 10. Lucas Torano in 11th. Beluga 12th. After that, you've got Rocco Luciano in 13th. Hezi Thomas 14th. And Tenno Kanoko, the last of those, in 15th with a valid lap. Akane Kalen, though, just going out on the outlap and coming up to the line to begin their first and only flying lap. And where will we see the number 31 lining up? Sir Kojay approaching a bit of traffic here. That's Ola Joyegbe, giving him a little bit of a tow into the braking zone. Wes Jones just a little behind those two. The three AMGs out on track in pretty similar parts of the track at this point. The 420 looking for the improvement, but finding himself getting caught up in just a little bit of traffic. And now we'll look to line up for the final go-around. Wes Jones now to the line, looking to get ahead of maybe one, maybe two Ginettas. Where will this put him? It'll put him all the way up to third. Gets ahead of the two Ginettas and Drew Freiberger. Fernando Carabete was looking like he was on a strong lap there at the end, but just couldn't put it together to match the time of Sir Kojay. Still gets his personal best in at the end, but it is about a 10th short of Sir Kojay's time, who continues to go around. And there's the time from Akane Kalen on to provisional pole, a 42.820, half a tenth better than Sir Kojay. Can he answer the call and say, hey, Sir Kojay here, I want provisional pole back. Just one sector to go for the 420 to get that place back. He did it in the previous qualifying session. Can he do it again here? Going so fast, the cameras can't keep up. Going through the quick turn at 15, just fine. Final braking zone at turn 16, carrying a lot of speed into the corner and not a lot of drama on the way out. Is this enough for Sir Kojay to get back to the front? It's not. That is going to be second for the 420, and Akane Kalen, after disconnecting early on, gets pole position on their one and only qualifying lap. Yeah, Rocco, I must say that was perfectly executed. I know my camera's not up, but I threw up an okay sign there because, yeah, that's, you get it. And so with race 2 getting started in a few minutes time, let's remind ourselves of the starting grid. Akane Kalen gets the lap at the end after returning from the disconnect right when it matters. The Strayworks X Spirit Racing McLaren championship leader lines up in an all too familiar position on pole. Behind you've got Sir Kojay showing great pace in the 420 AMG. The Chill Bibble Racing will look to get on the podium here in race number 2. Then you've got Fernando Carabete lining up in third as he did in race number 1 in the KRT 704 McLaren. Behind him, Wes Jones in the Baller Squad Racing. Number 80 starts from 4th, getting in a good lap at the end. Rounding out the top 5, you've got Drew Freiberger in the Got a Minute Racing 419 McLaren. He will have Giancarlo Bottini, podium sitter from race 1, alongside him in the number 57 Firebrand Ginetta. Then you've got Josh Ransom alongside him in the 325 TVR Ginetta, starting from 7th. Dr. Porkchop moving up a few places from his previous qualifying spot up to 8th in the Chop Shop Racing number 71 Alpine. Tolu Ola Joyegbe starts from 9th in the number 13 AMG Motorsport. Rounding out the top 10, you've got Alice Nonahara in the Wicked Sisters Motorsports number 42 Ginetta. Starting from 11th in the number 11 is Alex Aguirre in the Casual Chaps livery. He will have the Casual Chaps number 19 Aston Martin alongside him, making it an all Casual Chaps 6th row on the grid. Lucas Torano lines up in 12th. Vladimir Beluga next of Beluga Racing Team, the number 5 Porsche with a good top 10 result in the previous race. Can he replicate that result here? Rocco Luciano next to him with a perfectly executed 360 in the first race. The Apex Mafia number 14 starts from 14th. Next you got Hezzy Thomas in the Lone KTM, the Dogbox Racing 59 starting from 15th. Tenno Kanoko behind him in the number 9 Femboy Fitness Racing Porsche. Last but not least, Rally Dutchy in the 621 of Nine Tails Racing in the Ginetta. And the 71 there of Dr. Porkchop getting a bit of a late start to the formation lap, getting back to his position. Oh no, he couldn't get back to the position in time. He is going to have to start this race from the pits, as does Rocco Luciano. So that will be something to keep an eye out for. Dr. Porkchop starting inside the top 10. Now, we'll have to wait for the grid to go by before he can go racing from the pit lane. Yeah, what happened there, Rocco? I didn't see that there were any pit lane starts. At least in my quick glance, I must admit it wasn't a very thorough glance at the penalties being served this evening. But it just looked like there were qualifying bans, no pit lane starts. But nonetheless, Dr. Porkchop and Rocco Luciano keeping each other company in the pit lane. Oh, too far, too long. Yep, same story there with the Alpine, unfortunately. But hey, You live and you learn. And hopefully the grid has lived and learned through race 1 where the overtaking opportunities are to fight and battle for position. Now lining up side by side. Thanks for the follow. Hope you're doing well, Jess. Welcome in to the start of race number 2 for round number 7 here at Oulton Park. The second to last round before the championship finale next week. Akane Kalen leads the way in the championship and in the grid here tonight. Can anyone change that? Fernando Carabete, race winner from race 1, lining up behind. It's a quick jump to the green light here. And a quick jump indeed for Sir Kojay, moving up to third. He's going to try to sling it around the outside of Kalen, who closes that opportunity. Sir Kojay trying to keep the car under control and going across the track and hitting the Ginetta of Alice Notohara, who completes a perfect 360 to keep the Ginetta going in the right direction. Josh Ransom goes deep, taking out a polystyrene board there, as well as Vladimir Beluga, but he is able to keep the car pointed in the correct direction. Akane Kalen, good jump from the start. Carabete in second, and look who's in third. It's Giancarlo Bottini, once again taking advantage of the opportunity in the Firebrand Ginetta and moving up those positions. Then you've got Drew Freiberger in fourth, moving up a place past Wes Jones. Ola Joyegbe moves up a few places up to sixth. He's got Lucas Toronto and Alex Aguirre behind him. Those two casual chaps starting outside the top 10, now in 7th and 8th place. Tenno Kanoko moving up to 9th. Alice Notohara, after that slick recovery in that 360, maintains a top 10 position. Then you've got Vladimir Beluga 11th. Rally Duchy moving up from last place to 11th. Oh, and the number 11 of Alex Aguirre going back, and Josh Ransom there, after running deep, will have to battle with Dr. Porkchop, who started from the pit lane. And Akane Kalen getting a good jump after the opening lap. 1.5 second lead over Fernando Carabete in the 704. Then you've got Bottini falling under pressure a little bit from Freiberger. Wes Jones also pushing in a top 5 position. Then you've got Lucas Toronto in 6th, getting ahead of Ola Joyegbe. And Sir Kojay, after his save and slide across the track, in a top 10 position, battling with Vladimir Beluga. Into the hairpin they go. Very tight between the two, and into the first chicane they go. At the Britons down the inside, the 420 contact from Beluga, but the 420 maintains the position and will now charge ahead to try to catch Alice Notohara about 4 seconds up the road. And Rally Duchy trying to make a position up as well on Vladimir Beluga and slide himself up into 10th. But at the moment, the 621 will have to wait for another opportunity to open up. Ola Joyegbe closing that gap right up to Toronto, who runs deep at turn 16, giving the easy position to Ola Joyegbe, moving him up into 6th. Alice Notohara moves up to 7th, behind there in that black and yellow Ginetta, more like yellow and black. And then Sir Kojay there trying to catch up to this pack in the pink AMG. Wes Jones gets ahead of Drew Freiberger, who's stranded at the entrance of turn 3. Just now able to get back and rolling. And I tried to stay away from Drew on the cameras, and he unfortunately dropping back here to 10th behind Beluga. And there's Rally Dutchy. Hezzy Thomas having a look down the inside, sticking a nose in the KTM. But Rally Dutchy, good defense, keeping the speed around the outside. Dr. Porkchop catching up to the back after starting from the pit lane. Josh Ransom not too far off as well. The gap from Carabete to Kalen has closed down to within a second. So Fernando finding a little bit of pace here after the opening laps. And Alice Nonohara applying the pressure to Ola Joyegbe for a spot what is in what is now the top 5 after Drew Freiberger having that moment at turn 3. The number 14, that's Rocco Luciano, stranded at the hairpin. And back to the pits and out of the session is Rocco, who did redeem a fun fact, and I can tell you that fact now. Oulton Park, you would assume, has some sort of history around the wars, like Silverstone did, serving as an airfield. Same with Snetterton as well. Well, it is the same story with Oulton Park, but no airfields here. It did house a lot of U.S. troops back in the days of World War II before the attacks on Normandy. And so this was the home for a lot of U.S. soldiers stationed in Britain here at Oulton Park. A big salute to them and all who have served. And that's your fun fact about Oulton Park. Sir Kojay trying to get past Lucas Toronto, applying the pressure. Lucas Toronto, though, keeping his car in a great defensive position for the entry of the hairpin. Sir Kojay trying hard to get back into the positions he started. Oh, and Toronto running deep again. He ran deep at turn 16, this time at turn 15, to give the easy position to Sir Kojay. Drew Freiberger getting past Vladimir Beluga, who's still trying to fight that position back. Porsche versus McLaren down the start-finish straight. And Rally Dutchy not too far behind this battle either. There's Dr. Porkchop after his pit lane start, looking to get involved in the battles here. You got beached? What? That's strange. That's unfortunate, Rocco. From the battle for the final top 10 position to a battle for the top 5. Alice Nonohara still applying the pressure to Ola Joyegbe. Janetta versus AMG for the top 5. And it just looks like this gap opening up and then closing in certain parts of the track where the Janetta stronger than the AMG. And through the trees they go. Nonohara through this section in particular looking like not quite favoring the Janetta compared to the AMG, and soon enough Sir Kojay will be approaching Alice for that 6th place position. Dr. Porkchop and Rally Dutchy both get by Vladimir Beluga now in 12th. Rally Dutchy occupying that final top 10 position, and Dr. Porkchop looking to steal that place away in the Alpine. And just like that, in the span of half a lap, Sir Kojay is on the back of Alice Nonohara. Nonohara now forced to defend from the AMG behind rather than attack the AMG in front, and taking a defensive stance, but not able to keep the position into the braking zone. Sir Kojay gets that position quite easily there, and now looks to fight with the AMGs in front of Ola Droyegbe in 5th, then Wes Jones in 4th. Still right around. Oh, Nonohara running deep at the exit of 16. Losing that little bit of ground to the AMG here of Sir Kojay, who is putting in quick lap after quick lap to try and chase down his fellow AMG drivers, Ola Droyegbe and Jones. Whoa, Rally Dutchy lagging a little bit over the road there. Losing the position to Dr. Porkchop and trying not to do the same to Vladimir Beluga, who is pushing very hard in the number 5 Porsche. After a good, strong top 10 finish from him in race 1, looking to keep that momentum here into race 2 and carrying all of the momentum through turn 4 into the hairpin of 5, Rally Dutchy. Just looking in the mirror a little bit, opening up the inside to the Porsche, but he wasn't quite close enough to go side by side into the turn 5 hairpin. And now Dr. Porkchop on the back of Lucas Toronto for 9th. There's Tenno Kanoko in the number 9 with a stop-go 20. A stop-go 20? I've never seen a stop-go 20 before. I would assume that's going to be for track limits. We're probably cutting through that chicane there at turn 10 and 11. So Dr. Porkchop rounds out the top 10 with Lucas Toronto just ahead of him, running wide on the exit of turn 1. Hopefully not picking up a track limit violation there. Keeping him nice and honest there. Got Rally Dutchy not too far behind in 11th. Doesn't want to over push the car here. As he continues his pursuit of Lucas Toronto. Kane Kalin getting pressured by Fernando Carabete for the lead of the race. After 7 laps in the lead, that gap has gone way down. A little bit of a bump from Carabete on the back of Kalin, sliding the rear tires, trying to get the grip down out of the final corner and into turn number 1. The 31 still leading after 8 laps, but now Carabete really applying the pressure. going through turn 4 in equally matched machinery, but the setups can vary drastically. Garabete still hanging on to Akane Kalin, not allowing any mistake to happen from the lead McLaren, and he will certainly pounce on any opportunity that comes his way. Oh, and losing a few more drivers here. I believe Rally Duchy out of the race in the 621 Ginetta. So while Fernando continues to stay on the back of Kalin, Dr. Porkchop looking still to get by Lucas Torano. Both of those cars seemingly not quite going over the chicane as optimally as they would like. And Lucas Torano maintaining the position ahead of the Alpine, going a little bit wide onto the grass, but no heavy oversteer moment there from the Alpine, continuing in hot pursuit of Lucas Torano. And here we go, the two AMGs battling. Sir Kojay drifting wide at turn 1, nearly losing the car as he did at the start of the race on lap 1. Now on the back of Tolu, looking to get into the top 5. Not a lot of time left, less than 4 minutes on the clock. It is now or never for Sir Kojay to try to claw back as many positions as he possibly can. Currently sitting in 6th, fighting with Ola Joyegbe for that top 5 position. And through the chicane, on the exit, it looks like Sir Kojay just getting a monster exit, side-by-side contact. Sir Kojay onto the grass on the brakes, and that will lose him precious time. He will have to make that time back and try to fight, or try and find another way by Olu Joyegbe, so who is putting up a good defensive performance here. And just a few laps remain for Ola Joyegbe to try and fight for his top 5 finish. Sir Kojay, though, having the pace to qualify on the front row, will look to use that in the race and get past Ola Joyegbe. Fernando Carabete will look to do the same with Kalin out ahead. Two McLarens fighting for the front, or for the top spot, I should say, of the grid. And you've got two AMGs fighting for a position in the top 5. Dr. Porkchop able to get through Lucas Torano into 9th. So the number 19 occupies that final top 10 position as it stands. Kalin still not giving any chance to go side by side with Carabete. Neither is Olu Joyegbe. A little bit tidier on this lap with the 420. Not going into the grass on the braking zone. Able to stick close through this section of the track. Very high speed corners coming up before some heavy braking zones, which may be the best opportunity for Sir Kojay to find that way by Olu Joyegbe into the top 5. Final lap, race leader Akane Kalin looking to hang on. Olu Joyegbe defending the inside very heavily in the final braking zone. and Sir Kojay can't find a way by. This will be the last go. 2.69 miles separates us from the checkered flag. Who will finish in 5th? Will it be Sir Kojay? Will it be Olujayegbe? Down the hill through turn 3. Long straightaway here, but not a heavy braking zone to follow. Sir Kojay will have to hang back here through this fast left-hander at 4 and try and fight away by in the hairpin. He's trying to find a look down the inside, but Olujayegbe closed that opportunity, not allowing any sort of a nose up the inside, and knowing Sir Kojay forcing that contact, will have to settle here behind in 6th. Unless he can fight away by in the closing half of the lap. Fernando Carabete losing a little bit of ground to Akane Kalin, more than a second separating the lead McLarens, and it looks like Akane Kalin will lead from pole, leading every lap of the way to take the checkered flag in 1st and return to the top spot here in race number 2. Fernando Carabete in 2nd place, making it a McLaren 1-2. Giancarlo Bottini having a bit of a lonely race here, but 2 podium positions for the Firebrand. Janetta West Jones taking the checkered flag in 4th, and Olujayegbe trying to defend from Sir Kojay. Both of them will lose the place to Alice Nonohara, who finishes in the top 5. And Drew Freiberger, after the early misfortune for him, gets a 6th place result. Olujayegbe ahead of Sir Kojay in 7th and 8th place. Then you've got Dr. Porkchop after his pit lane start, finishing in 9th. Lucas Torano rounds out the top 10. A stop-go 30 for Josh Ransom at the end here. Vladimir Beluga taking the checkered flag in 11th place. Josh Ransom will see the checkered flag and get a 60-second penalty added to his final race time. Alex Aguirre carrying some front-end damage on the front of his Aston Martin will go wide at the final corner, but he will see the checkered flag to finish out round number 7. We lost Rally Dutchy, Hezi Thomas, Tenno Kanoko, and Rocco Luciano during that race. Unfortunately there. Take it back to our studio here and invite our lovely podium sitters to the green room for a quick chat of how your guys' race went on.
Green light. Go, go, go.
With the session ticking over to a new day, we wait for our friends to filter in. Akane knows the drill by now. Welcome back to the stream. Akane, how is it going this evening?
Wow, I hate this track. I never want this track ever again.
Yeah, it seemed like it was pretty tight there between you and Fernando pretty much for the whole 20 minutes in race number 2.
Yeah, and race number 1 was kind of a disaster. Pretty big one, actually.
Yeah, what happened there?
The car is terrible in this track, and I just spin because I'm stupid, and yeah, there you go.
Well, that's just how it goes sometimes. But still finishing in a good position there, and I think that's going to solidify your championship win with a pretty hefty points advantage going into the season finale. How does that feel?
Well, maybe all I needed was to not drive the Camaro, huh?
Yeah, you never know. Well, yeah, certainly excited to see how you get on in the multi-class. I believe you said you were joining that this week. Is that correct?
Yes, and I will go be terrible in multi-class now because I do not like the track we're doing. I'm pretty off pace.
Well, that's how it goes. You win some, you lose some. And yeah, let's focus more a little bit on tonight's race. Hot conditions there. How did the tires hold up compared to last week at Valencia?
I think this race was way worse for me than Valencia. The tires so terrible. The car understeered all over the place. It bounces all over the place. I never want to drive this ever again.
Well, lucky for you, it won't be on the calendar again this season.
Yeah, hopefully.
Well, we do only have one round left in the championship next week. Yeah. So I can assure you there won't be a double header of the same track 2 weeks in a row.
I feel bad for anyone that races in rookies after this and drives a McLaren in this track. I feel bad for you. I'm so sorry for your loss.
Yeah, this track it didn't seem like it suited the McLaren, but it suited you and Fernando pretty well, being able to come out on top and in second place. Yeah. And we've got Giancarlo joining as well. Giancarlo Bottini, welcome, my friend. Congrats on those 2 third-place finishes.
Thank you.
Welcome in. Race 1 seemed a little bit more eventful for you there, having to do a bit more overtaking than in race 2. Talk us through that.
Well, I was kind of hoping going into this race day that maybe I'll have the same awakening that John had at Kailami. And sure enough, I had a little bit of a tangle lap 1 and really just found my pace, fighting back and getting by.
Well, you did just that, staying out of the trouble at turn 1 both times there. Race 2, a little bit more quiet. You were able to just kind of put in those clean laps and finish not too far off P1 and P2 there.
Yeah, I don't have the pace to not be consistent, so just putting quali laps every lap was my lifeline for staying where I was.
Yeah, you certainly did the Firebrand Janez proud, the lone representative tonight, and look at that, 2 podium finishes for you.
I really gotta give it to the team. I wish John could be here. He had other commitments tonight, but he gave me the setup that, we asked the question of what if the curbs didn't kill us? And what do you know?
What do you know? Well, it seemed to work just well for you there. Getting through the cars in race 1 and just, putting in those clean laps race 2. 2 different races, same result. Podium finish twice.
Thank you.
Yeah, congrats to you, and congrats to you, Akane, as well, as we've seen all season long, finishing out at the front of the field. And we'll look forward to the championship finale for a nice race, and good luck to both of you there.
I'll bring a surprise for next track.
Heck yeah. I'd like to hear it.
A little surprise. Just to celebrate the championship, probably.
Heck yeah. Love to hear that, Akane. Move you guys back here to the green room. Congrats to Akane and Giancarlo for their podium finishes tonight. And that will take us to the end, officially, of round number 7. Round 8 next week. Season finale. Championship will go the way of Akane Kalen. But 2nd and 3rd, 4th and 5th, all up for grabs still. And it will certainly be something to look forward to next week. Tune in on Wednesday for the Wednesday Multi-Class Championship. They are going to Donington Park for round number 6. Then you've got iRacing on Thursdays. Soon we will have LMU back up and running again Tuesdays or Fridays. Make sure to check the Discord for all of those latest announcements. Hope everyone had a good Thanksgiving, Black Friday, and Cyber Monday, and now a Trackalicious Rookies GT4 Championship Round 7 to hopefully make your evening a little bit better. We're going to get a raid set up. Spread the love from one sim racing community to another. We are going to go check out some iRacing this evening. Some oval racing being held by Garrett Maines. Make sure to send him some love. Tell him Trackalicious sent you. And have a good rest of your morning, afternoon, evening, or night, wherever you may be watching us from. Thank you from myself and Trackalicious for tuning in this evening. Have a good one. Stay safe out there. And we'll catch you next time.